We might come back to a college because it was absolutely fascinating what we saw. But I think that we will just jump to another continent, maybe Northern Europe, and study some of the life there. But another college, I definitely see that in the future. Another college somewhere else, maybe not in Eastern America.
Well, what else did you notice about our college compared to anything else that you've studied?
What I've noticed particularly is the ability for plant life to grow indoors. As you can notice here, there's plant life growing all over the place, and we saw this not just located here, but all throughout the school. There was shrubs and bushes and all sorts of spruces just growing indoors, and that's truly outstanding.
A lot of it we've seen other continents. It's like it all somehow came here. I guess with the people, the diversity also brought in the plants. Oh, the hills are alive. But this artificial sunlight, the lanterns you were telling me before, they are very bright, which I think definitely helps out. You get a lot of natural sunlight, but also this artificial light helps out like there's no other.
Whoever spends time and rigs up these lanterns truly deserves some sort of medal to put in so much time and to the bravery to come up here into the roof and to set up these lights. It's truly amazing. Whoever does this, I applaud. I applaud their work.
Hats off to you.
Yes. You definitely deserve.
Absolutely.
Now, another question that caused a bit of controversy in the filming of your documentary was a certain female that you were following around throughout the school. She pressed charges and got a restraining order. What happened? What caused her to get this restraining order on you two?
Apparently, she doesn't appreciate people coming into her habitat and finding out what's going on. That was my view on it.
Well, I think what happened was when he started swinging out the money in front of her, what we did was we were going to see just how attracted the females are to these green forms of currency used as money. What we did, we took out $1 and we swung it in front of the ladies.
It was $5.
Oh, it's a $5 bill.
Yeah.
And it was... the response we got is really outstanding.
Fascinating. They followed us for quite some time.
We initially attracted a whole herd of females just by swinging this dollar alone.
It was one of those, show them, pull it quickly, and when they reach for it, and that kind of caused them to come with you, like a trap, but it wasn't anything harmful.
We actually learned that some of these girls, they'll dance for this money. What they'll do is they'll do a little dance, and they'll even strip their clothes off with the hopes that you give them this dollar bill. It's amazing.
And is that in your documentary?
We didn't capture any of that, but that was a fascinating experience outside of filming.
Outside of filming, yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Now, how do you feel about the accusations other people are making that you're not even real wildlife people, that this is all an act, that you're actually escaped people from a mental asylum? How do you counter those accusations?
Well, what I like to say is there was a time in my life where I was hooked up on methamphetamines, but that's way past me now. And I've actually been living a clean lifestyle, and I've been continuing my environmental studies. So, if you say that I'm not a wildlife explorer, then what are you? Because I feel, in a sense, we're all exploring the wildlife.
The minute we walk into the sunlight, into the fresh air, we are seeing all these organisms surrounding us. It's absolutely fascinating. It's amazing what you can see. But I think that we are all explorers in our own sense, and some of us do more than others, traveling around. Some of them stay in their contained habitat, but even in each individual habitat, there's so much to see and observe, and a lot of it is so small on the scale of life that you don't really always think about it or get a chance to really look at it.
Now, I'm sorry, but I only have time for one more question, and it's a bit controversial again. But how do you feel about America's involvement in the First World War?
I lied. That was must have been 90 years ago.
80, I believe, something around there.
That was.
But America's involvement, it came in. It wasn't really a shock to me. They've always wanted to be, the big man on campus. No pun intended.
Well, why would you ask us such an outdated question?
Well, I've heard it said that the First World War has had a great impact on ornithological research, such as things you do.
Many chemicals were used in that war.
Chemicals?
Many things were added to the environment. Mustard gas they used. in bombs, which they use to poison people. That's a very dangerous. But
They used
aside from
mustard to poison people.
they did.
I use mustard on my hot dogs and my frankfurters.
Yeah, I use it too. I use ketchup more, but
Well, what I do is if I have two hot dogs, on one hot dog I'll put just ketchup, and on the other I'll put ketchup and mustard. This way I get a choice.
yeah, the mustard gas is not very helpful.
That is
to
not
people.
outstanding at all.
It's not. It really. I don't even know how to respond. You know, we're kind of at a loss for words of what to say. It's not something that we keep in our minds. It's something we've pushed away from because it just was such a horrible experience, you know, for that time.
Haven't we had like maybe 4 or 5 other wars since?
Yes, but they were more of like policing operation. There hasn't been any great conflict since the First World War.
Could I ask you how you felt about the Civil War and how it affected this country?
1800s.
Or could I ask you the War of 1812? Or,
1812.
Yeah.
Well, no, you can't because
Do
we're
you
running out of time.
Do you think Sparta was right to?
That's all the time we have for now.
It's okay, Bruce.
Join us next week when we interview Humpty Dumpty, who recently had a great fall. Thank you. I'm Polly Wondercracker, and good night.
Good day, mates.
Good day.